Hello there! Chunky Monkey 3001 here, and welcome along to episode number 5 of my Take It Let's Build series. Today we're going to be finalising the design for the third class stateroom and pasting it into the ship in space, and also having a minor celebration for the first milestone of my YouTube channel. Onwards! So, here we are in my testing world, with its very noisy residents. Keep it down, boys, please, I'm recording a video here. And here we are at the end of the last episode. I showed you some of the modular designs for the third class cabins, the small box cabins. I haven't actually gotten round to doing any more designs for the second class cabins, but I know pretty much in my head exactly what I'm going to do. But I've almost got a fully copy and pastable version of the room, which I can just slap into the relevant decks of the main ship up in space, pretty much how I need it. So basically, let me find a blank one. We'll stick to over here where it's nice and bright. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the rooms in minus all computer equipment. So basically each room is... That was really clever. Each room is going to stamp in like this, plus data cabling, and also I'll run power cabling up above, like on here. So data cable will run along this block here, power cabling along there, and then I'll put the computer equipment afterwards when I actually initialize each room. As each computer is going to be going in as a blank terminal, I'm going to have to go to each and every room to insert a setup disk to actually download the setup files from the server through the network anyway, so it doesn't really matter that there's no computer equipment here already set up. Anyway, I'm waffling. The reason that I want to paste it in with no computer equipment whatsoever is I found that if I copy and paste the same room with a computer terminal installed, they all end up thinking they're the same computer, and that's going to lead to some very nasty confusion when I come to set up the machines. I don't know whether anything similar happens with the monitors or the floppy disk drives, but I thought, well, for the sake of slapping down a few extra blocks, I might as well sort it out all here and now. So that's the cabins. I'm going to set about installing these third class cabins onto a few of the decks. Let me see. I might leave some of the second to uppermost deck for second class cabins. So certainly that deck and that deck. Something that I need to add into the actual frame of the individual cabins is an idea that I came up with the other day of having these little beasties, EU splitters, redstone activated valves, if you will, for power, for the lights, because I don't want lights blazing all throughout the ship if they're not needed. Power is at a premium, don't you know? So I need to incorporate some sort of light switch system. Now, I've thought of your basic light switch running up the wall, but that would be messy. Also, whilst I have this end, well, corner piece of wall hollowed out, I don't want the inner walls to be hollow at all because they let light through. I can get away with this corner piece because, of course, this column here being hollow doesn't really matter because this side you've got the room which is actually served by that wire, and then this side you've got a solid iron block of the front wall of the next cabin, which snuffs out any light which might bleed in from the next room. So I then started thinking, well, perhaps I could run something off of the green data cable to actually activate, but that's going to get messy because, of course, the data cable runs between all of the different rooms, blah, blah, blah. So I think the final plan is going to be to have one computer up here in the rafters which serves 16 rooms, and basically, or I might be able no, I might be able to get away with using more. In fact, I don't think there's even 16 rooms per deck. Now, I'll get away with one computer and one bundled cable, and basically you control the lights from the console inside your room. You say lights on, it sends a message to the may as well go directly to the lighting computer. No need to bother with the server with that sort of thing. Straight to the lighting computer saying room number 106 would like the lights on, please, and then it cancels out a redstone signal that's been blocking out power flowing through this line down into the lights for a certain amount of time to charge these cells, and then cuts it off again. Hurrah, hooray, we have ourselves a ridiculously overcomplicated light switch system. Just the way I like it. So, after a little bit of tinkering, I think I may have stumbled upon the answer. I now have a second bundled cable line, which will be copied and pasted all the way along once this room here is copied. And I've made it a light blue line because it controls the lights. You see what I did there? And basically what's going to happen is this part's going to be blank. There's a repeater leading into each of the EU splitters, because for some obscure reason it doesn't like taking commands from individual wires or cables. So it's got to come from some sort of red... what's it called? Red power logic element, or a vanilla redstone powder line or repeater, blah blah blah. But I've plumped for the red power repeater, and yes. So this bundle cable is going to link up to a lights controller computer, one per deck per side, because don't forget that there's going to be another deck over this side, mirror image. And basically it sends a pulse through, which is simulated by this here lever to break the connection. So that's activated and has now broken the connection. No power can flow down to these lights, and deactivate, etc. So I'll just remove that. Go away, you. So now when I copy and paste these rooms, it's going to copy with this little platform above the room data cable, and this repeater, and this box here, and of course then this comes out to join the power line running along the front of the deck, just behind these lights here. And then this is going to go back to the main reactor room, which will not be floating an indeterminate distance behind the rest of the ship. It's going to be all nice and neat and tidy. So I guess the next step is to do the last little couple of bits of tidying. In fact, you know, I think we're pretty much there. I think we're pretty much there. I might change the flooring in here to something a little bit more interesting, something a bit more spicy. But you know what? Because this is third class, I might just leave the rest of it bare. I might even toss in a picture if I'm feeling especially fruity. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, over to MC Edit. Well, here we are in the testing world in MC Edit. Haven't seen this for a while. Right, so, as before, unfortunately, all modded blocks have a gaudy, bright yellow appearance, because MC Edit isn't entirely sure how to handle them. But no matter, we'll just brush over that and say no more about it. So, here we are. This is the room that I was just editing. And that's... This line of yellow here is the line of the ceiling panels. These purpley blocks here... Oh, there we go. What do we got? Tag U cable, foam color, cable type, color, facing, tag, foamed, blah blah blah. That's power cable. That's some of the bundled cable sat on top of the rear bundle line, and blah blah blah. So on and so forth. So let's select from, if I can get my view oriented, that's good enough as any. The bundled cable at the back there, remember that's the light blue bundled cable line that I put in for the lights controller, all the way down to the front right hand block of iron, which makes up the front wall. Now, I'm going to drop the yellow selection corner down a block to make sure that we get the carpet and everything in. Yes, I have carpeted with wool. It's lovely. It's grey. Well, this is third class. You should have coughed up more for your ticket, you stinge. And the blue selection box just needs to move backwards one more block. I think just one more. Yep, that's all we need. Basically, the room is going to be a block deep. Ooh, let me see now. Let's nudge Yeah, it's a bit tricky to try and work out exactly what's selected, but I think that's everything. I think we've got everything in here. Let's just test it out. Let's take a copy. So I'll copy those blocks and store them up here, and let's import it just for the hell of it. Right about... Oh. That went strange. There. We'll nudge it out a couple and import there. See exactly what we've got selected. So, we have the front door, blocks to the left, blocks to the right. It's replaced the image, well, it doesn't actually have an image on file at all for the the actual panels covering over the wiring, so it's just replaced them with the nearest half block that it can associate with it, which is wooden stairs. Right, we're completely devoid of sidewall, but that might not be a bad thing. We can get away with that. We can easily just build a sidewall onto the last cabin in the row, so that's alright. That'll actually make it easier for pasting, so I won't have to overlap the wall again. We've got the back wall, that's the main concern. And let me see. We've got the solid ceiling block there. This will be the actual light blue bundled cable here, running along the top. And these blocks aren't actually solid blocks at all. They only come up to about there, for they are the ceiling panels. So this purple block, well, that purple block there is going to be the... let me see. That's going to be the power cable leading into the top of the lights, which are these brownie blocks here. That's the cable coming out. That one is going to be the EU splitter. And then we've got the bed. We've got a fancy little construct which I put there as a little bedside table. More fancy constructs there, which is a little table coming out from the computer terminal. Yes, I'm happy with that. That's just about covered everything. So, what I'm going to do... This is that room saved in memory. I'm going to save it as an actual schematic. Okay, so I've saved that little room as a schematic. I'm now going to set about importing that into the spaceship out in space. So here we are, the ship out in space. Wait for it to all load in. And let's pop inside. So we're going in through the port side. There's the nose, there's the tail, and here are all the decks in fancy X-ray view. So, bearing in mind that facing from back to front as we are working at the moment on the starboard side. So, the uppermost deck up there obviously is first class. This is going to be second, so we're going to be filling this deck and this deck with cabins. So, we'll start towards the back. Yeah, we've still got the actual saved copy of the room, so we shall give it a crack. See if we can paste it in successfully. Right, we're completely out of line there, but that's fine. That's not a worry. So let's nudge it up a block. Okay, so the door is now level with the floor. So this is going to paste in the carpeted floor. All the contents of the room and the gubbins up in the ceiling. So let's see, where's that going to come out? Oh, of course it doesn't appear at top because that's why I put the ceiling in, silly boy. Right, good, good, good. Good show. In fact, I'm thinking if this floor here is going to be the casino, I could do without anything being under the floor at all. So, let's nudge the room to the side, get it well out of the way of the casino, because obviously there's going to be underfloor wiring around there. We'll start the rooms from here. Yes, seems alright to me. Well, let's paste it in and see what happens. There we go. Now, I wonder if nudging the selection box this way... no, that didn't work at all. Alright, never mind then. Ooh, just realised I've pasted it in one block too far back. Although, saying that, that might be where I want it to be. No, it isn't. No. Right, I'll get myself sorted out. Remove that one now. I'll get myself sorted and come back to you once we've got a deck full of rooms. Okay, last few of the cabins going in now. Snap this one in. Nudge it forward here. And one more. Last one. Nudge that one forward. Import. Right, now we've only got one side in at the moment, but we'll give that a spin, see how it goes. In fact, talking of giving it a spin, why not import one more? We'll just line it up exactly where the other one is. So there. Move it out into the middle. And, as I said, give it a spin. See how it likes being rotated. Now, in fact, what I'll do is rotate one and paste it in. Then what I'll do is paste another right next to it, line it up. Now I'll twitch it out a couple of blocks and actually mirror this one. So hopefully... Okay, I've now managed to do what I wanted to do. I'm now looking from back to the front of the ship. So there's the front over there. Here are the rooms that I've just put down. And basically I'm just trying out, seeing two different methods of rotating the existing rooms the other direction. Let me just save the world as it is, which should update the lighting so we'll be able to see things a wee bit clearer. Nope, hasn't cleared things up at all. But basically these two rooms floating above the central thoroughfare concourse. I think I'm going to call it a concourse. Yes, from now on, this road down here is the concourse. These one has been rotated twice to face the other direction, which will mean that I don't know, the computer, it won't look quite right because I wanted an exact mirror image. This one is mirrored, however all the components are going to be flopping about all over the place. But anyway, I'll re-import this back to the server and we'll see how things look so far. Right, we're all loaded up and ready to go. Let's get inside the ship and see what the damage is. Here we go. Right. Ooh, right, okay. First sight of... Oh, okay. I've got a feature of not enough items switched on, which is a magnet for loose items rattling around, and it's just sucked up a couple of pictures. Quite where they've come from, I'm not entirely sure. These rooms seem to have the pictures all on the right way. Oh, I haven't actually shown you the features of the room yet, have I? So you walk in, picture on the wall. Not that you third-class scum really deserve it. There's a little bedside table with a little imitation lamp. Nice and basic, nothing too fancy. I've given you all iron chests and a little table with little books in front of your terminal. Everything's very iron, very bland, because that's all you deserve. This is a little bit of a problem. Obviously, where the outer skin of the ship undulates, we're going to have some issues with depth with the portholes, but that's easily rectified. We can sort that out a little bit later. Right. Yeah, everything seems to have pasted in quite nicely. Let's just check out the way everything's linking. All of the room-to-room data cables are linking up quite nicely. The lighting bundled cable works. Let's count how many rooms we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, bit of lag, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rooms per deck. 2 decks. So we have 24 cabins. We have our first 24 cabins aboard the ship. Yay! How exciting. Right. Here's the test. Oh. Oh, what's... Oh. Oh dear. What's that? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's... Huh? Where have these wires come from? Why are they not attached to anything? So, this room was literally one of these, picked up, rotated through 180 degrees, and dumped down into the middle of nothingness. Nowhere. Ness. This has all gone very weird. Ooh, okay. Ooh. I don't understand. It doesn't look anything like the other rooms. And this is the one... Oh no, sorry, this must be the one that was rotated. I think. Because this one looks... At least it's got the computer port on the right side, except it... That's the lip that faces into the room. Oh, it's all very strange. This is the bit that I can't get over. A yellow wire has appeared from somewhere. I have no idea where that's come from. Except I've just picked it up as a bundled cable. What colour bundled cable is it? Light blue. Okay. And this pink wire has also materialised from somewhere. Oh! 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 Well, that's odd. Huh. Majorly buggy. But that's not really worked the way that I wanted it to. I think I might as well just rebuild one of the rooms across the way, build a mirror image, and copy it properly. It's me being lazy. Anyway, yes, we have our first cabins. Ooh! We also have space. Yes. Down here we're alright, but it looks like we're going to have to do a bit of a patch job with the hull on this deck. But that's alright. I'm happy that we've got cabins in. I'll nip outside and inspect the damage. Yeah, we've got a bit of leakage. It's not that severe though, actually. That'd be fairly easy to patch. Luckily, the majority of the outer wall of the rooms are flush with the outside of the ship. It's just where I've copied and pasted the air above the furthest part of the wall. It's basically punched a hole, but that's all right. Okay, I can also start to uncover the portholes. 1, 2, 3, window. 1, 2, 3, window. I quite like that strip actually along the side. I might have to make that design feature. Oh well, we'll work something out. Seal this up for the time being. There we go. We've got our first cabins. Oh wait, we're supposed to have another deck down below. Is there... okay, these have all got to be uncovered as well. Right, so I've sorted out the portholes for the cabins. They are all visible now. Given the brightness of the insides of some of the cabins and also the little aura around the outside, it almost makes a nice little lens flare effect, don't you think? Yeah, it's quite fetching. Quite fetching. Anyway, let's just sort this out. Sort from there to... there, maybe? Yeah, that looks alright. Right, gonna have to rethink this little section of the lighting bundle. I've made a handy-dandy little entrance just here. There we go. So, where is the offending article? Here we go. I have to just sort of hack my way in through here. But that's alright. I'm a trained professional. So, this little stretch here needs to be routed somewhere else. We can pop that there. And then we just need one block here. How does that look? It doesn't look too bad. Pop another block in there just to... in fact, another couple. Just to flesh it out a bit. That'll do. Right. Where did I... Where did I actually get in? There we go. Ho! There we are. Mission accomplished. Marvellous, marvellous. Simply marvellous stuff. Yes. Okay, there they are then. Our first batch of cabins on board the Starliner. Let's take a little looky outside, see how we're shaping up. And there they are. Like glistening windows into the soul of the ship. Oh, lovely. I've very quickly rigged up a little treat. Partly to round off the episode, but also partly in celebration over the fact that I now have 50 subscribers on my YouTube channel. This is good news indeed. Thank you very, very much to everybody that's hit the subscribe button, and also to everybody that's stuck with me so far. Because if you have stuck with me since the beginning, you'll know that the number of episodes hasn't exactly been growing at an astronomical amount, or even with any regularity. I wish I could do these videos more regularly, but unfortunately I just have to squeeze them in whenever I find a free second, and with family life and all that jazz, it's few and far between at the moment. But anyway, enough of the gumph. As I said, I've quickly rigged up a little something that's attached to the other end of this remote control. Don't worry, nothing's going to explode, I hope. And yes, da da da, let there be light. And there was light, and it was marvellous, and it blinked rather a lot, but it will eventually settle down. I had hoped that I'd wired up enough MFEs to combat the blinking, but never mind, never mind. So, this is the beginning. The start of the construction of the rooms marks the first step towards completing the ship. I'm rambling now. It's an emotional moment, brings a tear to my eye to see the ship blinking uncontrollable like this. Alright, settle down now. Yes, well, let's have a little peeky through. Do you know what? That looks quite nice in there, actually. I'm quite pleased with that. It's lovely. Stop blinking. Anyway, that's going to happen for a little while, I think. Yes, so thank you very, very much for watching episode number 5 of my Let's Build. If you'd like to leave a like, or you care to leave a comment, then please do so using the regular channels. And also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. There we go. Things have settled down slightly. There we go. Doesn't that look lovely? Isn't that smashing, eh? I think that's smashing. Yes, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. This is just the first little completed section of what is, as I'm sure you can see, a very large project. So there's going to be plenty more to come. And I have been, and will, with any luck, continue to be Chunky Monkey, as the ship promptly goes straight back to sleep again. And thank you very much for joining. Well, I might as well get rid of this now, hadn't I? I hope you enjoyed the episode, and see you next time.